Don't mind the smell. I was just testing a few chemicals, but it's perfectly safe to breathe. Really. I still need to study a living specimen with radiation poisoning. I need someone to research how to travel through a minefield. And that'll cover the first section of the book. Which strikes your fancy? Landmines are one of the few dangers out there that you can profit from. Disarm one before it blows, and you can sell it for plenty of caps. I've heard stories about a ghost town that's just full of mines. Traders just call the place Minefield. Sounds like the place for some field work. Get in there, get back, and tell me all about it. And could you bring back a mine for my studies? Okay, I suppose we can put that one off for a bit. Landmines are one of the few dangers out there that you can profit from. Disarm one before it blows, and you can sell it for plenty of caps. I've heard stories about a ghost town that's just full of mines. Traders just call the place Minefield. Sounds like the place for some field work. Get it. What better reward for avoiding explosives than to pay you with explosives? Frag grenades, in this case. I got a pretty good haul of them recently. And if you bring me back something to study, maybe I can make some modifications for you. Nothing like tinkering with a live mine, right? Oh, don't worry. No one ever goes there because they say it's a ghost town. And since ghosts don't exist, you can just focus on the landmines. I hear there's a playground in the middle of town. Reach that point and come back, and I'm sure you'll have some stories to tell. How are those hot little potatoes? Because, they're on the ground like potatoes, and hot because, they explode. Anyway, what's up? I appreciate the landmine, but there's just no way you could have gotten to Minefield and back already. I mean, it's got to take at least a day or so to get there and back, so get going. How are those hot little potatoes? Or whatever, you know what I mean. They say it was a town called Ridgefield until slavers cleared it out. Now, it's supposedly cursed and just a death trap to visitors. Now, everyone calls the place Minefield and says it's a ghost town. Superstitious nonsense, of course, but that's how people think. You'll be fine. How are those hot little... It's not just because they say the place is haunted, is it? Because that's no reason to avoid the place. Ghosts don't exist. But landmines do. Oh boy, do they. And that's what we need to study. How are... Neither is going around all the time with a loaded gun or running with sharp objects, but people do those things all the time. You worry too much. Just be careful where you step, and I'm sure you'll be fine. Try not to die.
I'm wired with explosives! Glad to see you.
Junk is my business. How are those hot little potatoes? Because, they're on the ground, like potatoes, and hot because they, explode. Anyway, what's up? My very own landmine! Oh, just what I've always wanted. Well, always since I sent you out on this anyway. Now, tell me all about it. What was it like going through there? What's it like disarming a landmine? Do you think I'm an idiot? I may be a little impulsive, but not an idiot. I'll just take a look at this on my own then. I know you may not want to see any more explosives for a while, but obviously you know your way around them. I have a couple rainy day toys of mine. And looking at this landmine, it gives me an idea. It's a terrible device that does terrible things, of course, but it's easy to make your own too. Welcome. How are those hot little... My very... Now... Oh, well, if that's all, I'll just study this and hope there aren't any more explosions, shall I? I know you may not want to see any more explosives for a while, but obviously you know your way around them. Have a couple rainy day toys of mine. And looking at this landmine, it gives me an idea. It's a terrible device that does terrible things, of course. But it's easy to make your own, too. How are those hot little... Now... Not quite as much of a ghost town as they say, is it? Good work staying calm and collected under pressure. It'll be a great example for the book. I know you may not want to see any more explosives for a while, but obviously you know your way around them. Have a couple rainy day toys of mine. And looking at this landmine, it gives me an idea. It's a terrible device that does terrible things, of course, but it's easy. How are those hot little... I know you may not want to see any more And looking at this landmine, it gives me an idea. It's a terrible device that does terrible things, of course, but it's easy to make your own, too. Well, I can't force you to work, I suppose. Yes, that's what I need your help on. I know lots about it from books, but I never seem to get a live example. Not for long, anyway. So I need you to get a bit of radiation poisoning so I can study its effects. Oh, not a deadly dose, of course. I can fix you up before that. Oh, don't worry so much about it. I'll be here waiting with a nice tall glass of rad-cleansing Brahmin milk for you when you get back. Well, mostly just a whole lot of Rad-X and Rad-Away. And maybe even a more reliable way to get rid of radiation. Assuming it works, of course. Oh, you're a peach! Or at least some sort of hardy fruit that grows in the savagely irradiated mockery of agriculture we have nowadays. Now, 200 rads should be enough for basic sickness. But if you can get 600 or more rads, my test will be even more accurate. Just make sure you can get back here, and I'll see to it that you're well taken care of. Oh, feeling a bit under the weather? Or a bit over the Geiger counter? I realize a lot of things, but this isn't one of them because it's a real scientific necessity and not ridiculous at all. What I mean is, I need this research, and you're probably going to get irradiated out there anyway. So, why not come back here and help me too? Oh, not even for humanity? Not even for science? Try not to die.
Of the globe. For this ancient weapon of war is our salvation. It is the very symbol of Atom's glory. Let it serve as a reminder of the division that has occurred in the past, and the resplendence of the promise of our division in the times to come. Give your bodies to Atom, my friends. Release yourself to his power. Sorrows no suffering, for in the division we shall see our release from the pain and hardships of this world. Yea, your suffering shall exist no longer. It shall be washed away in Atom's glow, burned from you in the fire of his brilliance. Each of us shall give birth to 1 billion stars, formed from the mass of our wretched and filthy bodies. Each of us shall be mother and father to 1 trillion civilizations. Each of us shall know peace, shall know an end to pain, and shall know Atom in his glory. I urge you, my friends, come, drink with me and pray. Glorious Atom.
Oh, feeling a bit under the weather? Or a bit over the Geiger counter? I can tell! You're positively glowing! Now, just hold on and try not to move. Tell me how it feels, and I'll get you fixed right up. You're a lucky one, you know. At this level, most people don't make it. But then again, most people don't have my experimental tricks. Now, after taking a few notes, I'll take care of that nasty radiation with a bit of my own homemade concoction. I've never had the chance to test it out on someone so heavily dosed. Oh, but I'm sure it'll work out fine. Exciting, isn't it? Okay, a little ramen milk, a couple magnets, and maybe a few happy thoughts. Well, you're alive! Oh, that's the good news. But there was a little side effect. A teeny tiny mutation. But it seems to be benign, at least. Here, take a few radiation chems as my little way of saying, I'm sorry I twisted your DNA like a kitten with a ball of yarn. Well, okay. If you feel you really need one. Got something to sell? Oh, I can tell! You're positively glowing! Now, just hold on and try not to move. Tell me how it feels, and I'll get you fixed right up. You're a mighty lucky one, you know that? At this state, most people have trouble standing up, much less walking over here. Now, let me take a few notes, and I'll handle that nasty radiation with a bit of my own homemade rat cure concoction. I've never had a chance to test it out on someone so heavily dosed, but I'm sure it'll work out fine. Exciting, isn't it? Okay, a little Brahmin milk, a couple magnets, and maybe a few happy thoughts. Well, you're alive! Oh, that's the good news. But there was a little side effect, a teeny tiny mutation. But it seems to be benign, at least. Here, take a few radiation chems as my little way of saying, I'm sorry I twisted your DNA like a kitten with a ball of yarn. Don't take too long. The sooner the book's done, the more people we can save with it. Yup, you've done a great job. I just need to add in the section on how to cook rat, and this chapter's done. Here, for your services, I've saved up quite a few stim packs. Of course, you may need them. We still got 2 more chapters to go. The second chapter is going to be a bit trickier, I think. It'll cover how to handle creatures out there, for better or worse. For example, repelling mole rats, learning about mirelurks, and when all else fails, how to handle being injured. So let's buckle down and get to work on this chapter. What's first? Well, I guess I can wait a little. I've got plenty of other projects to work on after all. But come back soon and help out. It's for an important cause. Absolutely. I'll bet you haven't been thinking about the guide as much as I have. Well, it'll help humanity rebuild, right? I mean, who doesn't want to help humanity? Besides, it's bound to work out better than some of my other projects. I mean, with you helping and all, how could it go wrong? Well, a little before you first arrived, one of my experiments had a little accident. I mean, how could I have predicted the centaur would think my assistant smelled tasty? But nothing bad like that could happen with this book. It's a great plan, and it'll make up for everything else. Oh, I hadn't really thought about it like that. I don't want anyone to get hurt. That's the last thing the guide should do. Well, we're just going to have to make sure it's accurate and useful and great then. You and me. Together, we can research and write a... Well, oh, believe me, I know. I've been a bit careless with other projects, but this? is important. This means something. You got it, Super Research Assistant. Hey, I should get you a costume or something. You got it, Super Research Assistant. Hey, I should get you a costume or something. You got it, Super Research Assistant. Hey, I should get you a costume or something. Oh, I'm writing up the second chapter right now. It's called Thrive. It covers the various ways to get ahead and stay ahead of the various predators out there, and how to patch yourself up if you don't. Come back soon!